Dear students, I have come with a new module, Agreements Expressly Declared Void. So you know that the quality of agreement, the legality of agreement, when we enter into a contract is very important to make that contract valid. So some cases, agreements are expressly declared as void. You don't have to investigate the legality of that. With the way they have made that agreement itself, we can say that it's void. Now, let us see what are void agreements. As per section 2, subsection G of the Indian Contract Act 1872, an agreement not enforceable by law is said to be void. Not enforceable by law. It has no legal validity. That agreements are considered as void. For example, agreements entered into by minors, bankrupts, insolvents, whoever undergoing psychiatric treatment. So all these are agreements entered into by these parties are void. Now agreements expressly declared void. More than what I have explained, there are 12 points in detail you have to study for covering the topic agreements expressly declared void. So first I will list that, then 4 points we will explain in this module, then the other points we will take it as other different modules. So the first point is agreements by incompetent parties. Second is agreements under mutual mistake of fact. Third is agreements with unlawful consideration or object. Fourth is agreements, the consideration of which is unlawful. Fifth is agreements without consideration. Sixth is agreements in restraint of marriage. Seventh, agreement in restraint of trade. Eighth, agreement in restraint of legal proceedings. Ninth, agreements, the meaning of which is uncertain. 10. Wagering agreements. 11. Agreements to do impossible acts. And 12. Agreements contingent on impossible events. Now, let us take 4 points in detail. So, the first one, agreements by incompetent parties. The term incompetent itself shows that they are not allowed to enter into any legal contract. Section 11 of the Indian Contract Act 1872 lists who all are incompetent to enter into contract. They giving a list that is minors, lunatics, idiots and insolvents. So this point always we have explained in that minors incapacity to enter into contract, lunatics, those who are taking psychiatric treatment, idiots, that meaning they cannot differentiate between right and wrong, and insolvents, those who have got insolvency petition filed against them in that court. So that meaning their assets are not able to pay the liabilities. They cannot enter into any valid contract. Second point is agreements under mutual mistake of fact. Mutual mistake of fact meaning both the parties are at mistake. So section 20 of the Indian Contract Act 1872. So if I'll give you an example, I want to purchase a carpet online. So sometimes when we make online purchase, we will make difference between or we will make mistake regarding the color. So thinking that it was navy blue, I ordered that item and I mentioned that also it's navy blue. The shopkeeper also, he has not checked that information, what I put it in the description. He thought that it was actually black. So this black is the idea of the seller who's selling that, but my idea as a purchaser, it was navy blue. So it can get confused. So both the buyer and seller misunderstood the fact, that is the color, that is the main concept of entering into the contract. So agreements under mutual mistake of fact, it's a void contract. I will not accept that because it's not the color of my choice. So the seller has to take back the item. Third is agreements with unlawful consideration. See, any agreement when you are entering into, there should be a lawful consideration. It can be in monetary terms or it can be in kind. A vehicle purchase, exchange for a land, or a house property exchange for another house property. All these are lawful. But if you are telling that I will give you that smuggled item as a consideration, it is unlawful. So agreements with unlawful consideration are expressly declared to be void. Section 23 of the Indian Contract Act 1872 says that a contract entered into by both the parties to sell goods which are smuggled from a foreign country. That is an example for agreement for unlawful consideration. Smuggling from a foreign country, it's not allowed. The legal consequences are there. The jail imprisonment is there. So this is agreement with unlawful consideration. Next is agreements with unlawful object. The objective of entering into contract should be lawful. Then only they can make the contract valid. So this is explained in section 24 of the Indian Contract Act 1872. So here, one case if you take A and B got married. B was actually in love with Mr. C. Now, B entered into a contract with Mr. D to forcefully divorce the marriage between A and B. So B is influencing D. B is getting the help of D to forcefully force that marriage between A and B to divorce so that he can marry Mr. C. So she can marry Mr. C. So the contract and the agreement both are void. So this is not allowed. Forcing somebody to divorce a marriage. So that is both the agreement and the consideration are void. Whatever the consideration D is getting as an offer from Miss B. So that will be that void. It will end up in a void contract, or in an agreement is also void. The consideration is also void. It has no legal validity. So this is what I want to explain in this module. Happy learning. Thank you.